Hi there and welcome back to my channel, the Pink Aviatrix. In this video, I will be talking about hygiene tips for pilots.
And this is part 2, so if you missed part 1, check the description box.
Yes, that is very important. So moving on to after your flight. After your flight, if you want to be so kind as to help the next person, you want to wipe down the controls with the same diluted soap and water or a mild wipe, right? Just to wipe away any sweat that you may have left behind, because honestly, that is something that's so nice to touch. Maybe nobody would know that you did it, but I've gone to an aircraft before, like somebody used it right before me and I saw drips of water on the yoke and I was like, is that sweat or is that water? I didn't really want to find out, so I just, wiped it off with some wipes. But yeah, you want to be kind to the next person that's about to use the aircraft. Leave it better than you found it, so clean up after yourself. Any garbage that you brought into the airplane with you, any bottle of water that you had to drink, any snacks, ensure that you clean those things out of the aircraft before you lock it up and give the key to somebody else. Another thing you want to do after your flight, possibly right after, or maybe it is when you get home, but I prefer doing it right after. Your headset, these things are squeezing on your ears, right? You're sweating and training. Wipe off your headset, right? Just a damp cloth, right? Wipe down the cords of your headset as well and allow it to dry a little bit before you pack it into your bag, because the thing is, when you keep using that in and out, and depending on the type of headset that you have, it could start to smell. And also another thing about headsets, that little mouthpiece that has a sponge on it, every so often, I'd say weekly or every 2 weeks, remove that sponge and just wash it in a little warm soapy water and give it to dry, because that thing is touching your mouth all the time, and yeah, there's saliva building up in it, dirt. If you're a female and you wear lipstick, makeup could get on your headset as well. So you want to ensure that you're cleaning these things daily, weekly, or every 2 weeks in my recommendation, depending on your usage. And another hygienic thing about your headset, try your best not to share headsets. I know sometimes that might be difficult to do, especially if you don't own your own headset, but please try not to share headsets. Or if you do have to share headsets, follow the steps I mentioned previously. You don't want to keep sharing headsets, and especially now with what's going on in the world, you don't want to have that contact with someone else's saliva, you know what I mean? So yeah, just don't share headset, or if you have to share headset, clean it up. And that applies if it is that you're flying in a different aircraft or somebody is offering you a ride. Essentially, carry your own headset. It's more hygienic and sanitary. So another thing that you want to ensure to do after your flight, especially if you have another flight that day, is to clean yourself up. As I mentioned before, when you're training, you can get a little bit sweaty and a little bit gross. And in my previous video, it's in my flight bag part 2, I talked about what is in my cosmetic bag, right? And a cosmetic bag is very helpful for you to carry around when you have multiple flights, or just even if you have one flight per day. That can help you to refresh yourself after a flight. I would say go to the bathroom, take off your shirt, wash your face, wipe your underarms if you're somebody who sweats a lot in that area and tends to, develop an odor after a short period of time. After a short period of time, wipe away that stale old deodorant that you've been sweating in and reapply a fresh layer. This is especially important if you have another flight that day, because I don't know if anybody's familiar with this, but like after you've been wearing deodorant and then sweating into it and then sweating into it and then sweating into it, you don't smell good, you don't look good. And as I say, you don't want to offend the person with whom you're sharing the cockpit. So just clean up a little bit, just little things that can help make a difference, and just make the experience of sharing a cockpit, a small space, a little bit more tolerable. Right, you also want to have toothbrush and toothpaste, depending on what you eat that day especially. You want to freshen up your breath. And if you don't want to carry toothbrush and toothpaste, you could always walk with bubble gum. And gum is important for pilots as well anyway, because you know, descending can affect your ears and the equalization of pressure, I think it's called. So chewing gum is also helpful for that as well. Here's one more tip. If you have sweaty feet, I suggest you carry an extra pair of socks as well, because as I say, you don't want to stay in sweaty, stale clothes all day. You're not gonna smell good, you're not gonna look good, and your poor instructor. Think about your instructor. They have so much that they're already going through with, you know, having to deal with you trying to kill them every day. But yeah, just, you know, fresh up yourself. So, you know, stink out the place, you know. Another thing that you want to do, since you're gonna be changing off these sweaty things, you want to have a small bag, preferably plastic or some type of dry fit bag, Ziploc bag, something that you can put the sweaty things into, because you don't want to change off your sweaty undergarments and then put them into your flight bag, because that's gonna get on everything else and make everything else smell bad. So you want to have a separate bag to keep your sweaty items in. And as I mentioned, not making your flight bag get sweaty and smelly. Wash your flight bag. This is another important step or important tip. Wash your flight bag every couple of weeks, because you're lugging it around every single day, right? Your hands get dirty, you put dirty things in it, you put it down on the ground, even though I don't recommend that. Sometimes inside the aircraft is not the cleanest, so you want to ensure that you're washing your flight bag every couple of weeks, because it will look better and smell better, right? And just add to your overall hygienic appearance, you know, your hygienic aura, your smell good ability. Yeah, so those are my tips. If there's anything I left out, hygiene tips for pilots, leave them in the comment section. Let me know what you do to refresh yourself before, during, and after a flight. And yeah, let's have a conversation going about hygiene and sanitation. Go watch my video called What's in My Flight Bag Part 2 to see what's in my cosmetic bag, which I'll link somewhere here, so that you can see what you need to carry with you to help you stay hygienic, sanitized, and safe at this time. Watch the video. It's linked somewhere here. Down, up, side. These aerosol sprays will get into these aerosol. Share this video with someone who might be in flight training now, someone who's a pilot. What type of vehicle goes on? A bike goes on? It's just so... Some of these planes have headsets in them, but all these kids, my goodness. And in my previous video, thank you so much for watching this video.